Hello everyone, I'm Ace of Clubs Kid, and today I'm going to be doing a review of Chernobyl Diaries. This is a movie that I was really interested in seeing. It looked really cool. The premise behind it seemed really, really interesting and kind of mysterious. Because you couldn't see too much from the trailers. You could never see the monsters or anything. And I like horror films. I think that it seemed like a really neat idea. Um, and yeah, so I decided to go out and I rented this from Blockbuster because it wasn't on Netflix and I couldn't find it online anywhere. So I went ahead and watched it, and it sucked. This is literally the worst horror film I have ever seen, and it's probably one of the worst movies I've seen in recent times. It's up there with Parental Guidance, and if you've seen that movie, then you'll know what I'm talking about. So I took some notes on my tablet, and I've decided I'm kind of going to go through these and show you, or talk about, rather, what I thought while I was watching it. So, first of all, the setup is a bit obvious. It's kind of overly happy. I think that's not too big of a, crime for the movie to do. It's not too uncommon, but it's also, it makes it hard to get involved when you're like, okay, everything's too perfect, this is too nice, this is, like, everything's just too good. So, with that, the characters seem really stock and not really very interesting. To expand on that, I really don't think that people like any of the characters. I know that I really didn't. I didn't feel like, oh, I really hope nothing happens to this person, or, this person seems really interesting, or, that guy seems really cool. It was just kind of like, okay, we have this group of people who we literally just meet. I think there's, like, probably 2 or 3 minutes of actual, kind of exposition of the people that's not just sort of, like, being stupid and kind of like jumping around in this foreign country. So it really is hard to even care about the characters when inevitably it's a horror film. Yes, they die. So yeah, the movie does a really poor job of making itself interesting. I mean this in exactly how I said it. It's just, like I said, the premise sounds so fascinating. Radiation. You could have these crazy, weird, like, Half-Life type, just screwed up things going. I mean, I know Half-Life's aliens, but you could have that weird kind of monster feel to it, and it could be really, really cool, and like, you don't know if they're going to be affected by the radiation and everything, but it's just like, oh yeah, there's radiation in this place, we're going to go in there anyways, it's going to be like a day, we're not going to get affected by it, it's fine. And it's like, what? Like, you're going to this place that a nuclear reactor exploded, and you're not even, like, thinking twice about the radiation exposure? Like, the movie just has a very much just go with it kind of attitude. Like, it's like, oh yeah, this is really stupid, we're gonna do that anyways. So, like, that was really annoying, too. There's plot hole after plot hole. One of the biggest things is that, there is literally, the Russian army is protecting people from not going into this place. And then the tour guide's like, oh yeah, we'll just go around, and they drive around this path for, it doesn't even seem like very long. The movie doesn't make a big deal of making it seem like it takes that long. They go to some bumpy roads, and they just kind of, they're there. It's really not difficult to get around the Russian army. They really don't seem to care very much about what they're doing, which is, I'm sure, far from the truth. Okay. The shaky camera is, oh my god, this is probably the most annoying thing about the movie, if not, well, it's definitely one of the most annoying things, because there are hardly any, like, clear shots. Everything's just, like, a little bit like it's shaky like this or a little bit. When they're running, it's like this, and, like, you can't see anything. To extend off that, you never see any of the monsters. You see 2 dead, radioactive animals. I won't give away too much by that. But you see 2 dead animals. You see you see one person that died, barely, a little bit. Like, you don't even see very much of it. It's just kind of like, part of the body, which I guess is okay. I think it'd be more interesting if they actually showed the extent of, like, what these things did. But yeah, that's just kind of me, I guess. That's my thoughts on it. Yeah, you really don't know what they're up against when you can never see anything but, like, shaky camera shots and, like, oh, that's like a dog-like thing, and that's like oh, and there's this bear, and like it's so confused at what it's doing. But to be fair, just to honestly be fair, the first, I'd say, up to the scene where they're in the bus, I think everything's kind of interesting after there. You have a lot of suspense. You don't really know what's going on. The tour guide's starting to act a bit suspicious. You know something's up. Something's, weird. As kind of stupid as that sounds, they're in Chernobyl, and they're just like, obviously we've been over that, but yeah. It just seems like something's weird. Something's uncomfortable. They're out of something that they're comfortable with, and I think it's interesting up to that point, but up to there, it's kind of building, and then it just drops off. It sucks after that point. I think it really gets bad. There's lots of gags and cliches, like, oh no, something's really bad's gonna happen. Oh, but we're just kidding. That's not actually a problem. It's just the tour guide's doing something stupid or something like that. Like, that's dumb. I liked the car scene. Like I said, I took another note on that. It's a good combination of suspense. You don't know what they're gonna do. They don't really have many good options. Towards the end of the film is where I think it really starts to just become mega crappy. People just disappear. Like, it's the whole point behind horror films is that you're scared because people are being killed in these graphic and horrible ways that you'd never want to experience. But people just kind of disappear. Like, people just literally get dragged off, and they just sort of like, you hear screams, and then you're like, okay, I guess that person's gone now. Like, once again, you don't really care about them that much anyway, so it's not like that big of a deal anyways, but like, you never see how anyone gets killed except for the ending, that's the last thing I'm gonna say. It's horrible. I think the ending was good, and you maybe saw the mutants, you got more of an explanation, you got, maybe it was this really interesting kind of like thing and everyone was watching them or something. Like, I think it could have had the potential to have a good ending, and it could have been a half-decent movie, but the ending, just no effort. It was crappy. It was so bad. So that's basically my thoughts on this movie. Don't watch it if you haven't already seen it. If you have already seen it, I'm sorry. That's all I have to say for this film. Thanks for watching. I'm Ace of Clubs Kid, and I will see you later.